everybody? Welcome to another edition of Box Seats. Your host, Frank Holder, here with you. Let's get ready to get the show started where we talk with comedians about sports. My man Talent in the building. T, what's good? How you doing, sir?
It's almost 2023, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. time is going by. When you ever thought back in 1995 that you would see 2023, you know what I mean? Like,
no, hell no, dude. I remember being in middle school. All I was banking on was we was focused on how old we was going to be with the year 2000.
Yeah, right. That was the big
31. Thing. Yeah, I never forget that. Everybody was all hyped on 1999, 2000.
Yeah. My man Mike Sean is also in the building too. Mike, how you doing, sir? How everything?
I'm excellent. I was hyped off of 1999. That's what I was hyped up. I was just trying to make it to 1999. And I was going to be all good in the hood then. That's all.
Who knew we'd still be here counting these numbers?
I thought I was supposed to be flying to comedy shows by now. Like, I was supposed to be just flying. Like, by 20, if I made it to 2022, I thought I was supposed to be, like, literally flying. I was a pilot. I had a pilot's license. I didn't have a regular driver's license. Bunch of liars.
Big dreams, big dreams.
Big dreams.
No, the funny thing is we all have big dreams, and sometimes they come true, and sometimes they don't. Right? That's how.
Sometimes you hope they don't come true. And let me get on the plane, and Mike's the pilot. I'm off of that, baby.
Yeah, I would advise you too. I would advise you to get off. I'm like, you want to trust me?
Let's get ready to get the show started, man. First up, man, is T. I don't know if you heard this story, right? But former New England Patriot Willie McGinnis got arrested for an alleged assault with a deadly weapon out in L.A. I saw the video that he got arrested for. It's one of the videos with. I don't know if you saw the video or not, but it's one of the. He wasn't a big participant in this. Everything else he did throw one punch. He did throw a thing, but the dude who he was with was hammering down this other dude, and now he's facing charges and everything else. It's one of those things that happens with the athlete and everything else. So I'm looking at this, shaking my head. I'm like, yeah, this is one of those things we're using in the wrong place, bro. You shouldn't have been there. And I don't know if it's the LA thing. So what's your take on this? T?
First of all, 4 minutes and 22 seconds in, Mike said pause. But this is the down part of being well known. You don't even have to be the person that's doing the most damage, or that's actually, if you're in the vicinity, they only going to remember the well-known person. And he's going to be called into question regardless of anything. He don't have to be that guy, Frank, that's doing it. He's there. He's with the guy, whatever. They're going to always remember the well-known person, whether he did something or not. So you get called in anytime. I've been there, done that 1,000 times. I think that we're seeing a trend go on. And I hate to give credit and maybe kind of attachment to this whole CTE thing, but there might be something there. Because we've been seeing a trend, not just with them hurting themselves and family members. We've seen a lot of ex-athletes, football predominantly too, that are getting into these domestic and gun situations, and robbery and just random like accidents and stuff. I mean, look at the last 2 years.
Right.
The last 2 years, bro. We can go pull up some Rolodex on these ex-players, so to speak, ex-players. So it might be something there, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that part too. What's your take on this, Mike?
I mean, Talent, when he said it's that's the gift and the curse of being famous or being a well-known. Well-known because he's not famous, but he's known.
Right.
But the problem is when you in a situation like that, you already know people ain't got no life. People want to videotape this stuff. They don't want to break it up. They want to play director. They want to spread the word. If he didn't know how to tackle people, would have said the N-word named Willie got into a fight. That's all.
Right.
Would have said a guy with curly hair and big got into it. But because he's played in the NFL, I'm not shocked. The only thing is, when you spend your life hitting people, I don't understand why we live in a society now that people really will test people who for a living showed you that they will hit you. But it's like it's hard out here because people want to test other people. People want to be on tape. And I don't even know. The problem is we don't even know the circumstances. We don't even know what preceded this situation, what was said. I say 7 out of 10 times these players are trying to walk away from situations because they know where this is going to go.
Right.
But, there are people out there, like I said, who want to put the ultimate test, and you see what happens. Like Frank said, you get hammered out by a dude.
Whoa.
You get hammered by a
Major pause on that.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. You say why his boy was hammering out the dude. I said, okay.
I did say that. I did say that.
I fell back. I think I would have described it differently. I think I would have described it differently.
Punch him. I should have described that differently. All right, let me ask you guys this, man. Here's the topic I was waiting to ask. I wanted everybody to be on this and give me their thoughts on this, but I guess I'm gonna have to deal with this. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend, but Ja Morant on Sunday night or Saturday night got thrown out of a game because the referee thought that he had said something to him when Ja Morant was saying something to a person who was sitting in the stands in the audience.
Yeah.
The replay clearly showed that Ja Morant had got his first tech, and then the second tech came in, and the ref was nowhere near it. And Ja Morant is facing the person who he's talking to. You know what I mean? Because somebody on the sideline said something to him, and he's saying it, and then he's saying something with some cuss words, and he's saying it to the fan. Now, once the replay officials confirmed and everything else, everybody in the whole thing they got it except the ref, and he got to continue to get thrown out. I'm gonna ask you, what are your thoughts on this? On the referees throwing out after they got proven that, you know what, dude, it wasn't him. You know, but how
this is idiotic and asinine at the same time because of one factor. The girl, the fan in the stands, is wearing a Ja Morant jersey. She's a fan. She has on his paraphernalia, you know, and they talking, you know how you get hyped in the game or whatever, and they talking smack, whatever, and he says, yeah, you know, man, she talking back. Okay, so let's say you just hear the earshot and think he's talking, and you get it, you know, mixed up. When you look at it, you see exactly what it is. That's why we have, right, the replays and the booths and all that type of stuff to negate these things from happening, because too much of this causes a problem with your fan base. Right. You know, if we already live in a world where you cannot convince the average fanatic that the sports are not fixed, right? So now we watch sports looking for those little moments of fixation, if you will.
Right.
And this, if I'm a gambler and I'm watching this joint, I got my money on it, and this happens at a crucial point in the game and cause me to lose my money, hell yeah, I'm thinking the game is fixed. This is asinine. This is why we have a booth. This is why we have instant replay. We can go back if we're unsure and we're not 100%. This is Ja Morant. You got to give this guy the benefit of the doubt first and foremost, because this is a game changer. And I just thought that, you know, I'm waiting for the ref to come out now, to be honest with you, with some extracurricular words to apologize in their way, because they've never really, if you ever look, you'll be hell bent waiting for that apology. But I just think it's asinine. I think it was stupid. It was clearly him and a young lady was exchanging like bragging stuff about the game.
You know, the worst part about this, Mike, is that the fans come to see Ja Morant play, and he gets tossed out the second game. Like, it should have been something, some type of power. Maybe somebody from New York should have superseded and said, you can't throw him out of the game. You know, something. I don't know. I don't know how you handle this. What's your thoughts, Mike?
If a player gets in trouble, they're quick to say, you're going to get suspended for 2 games without pay. If you know this is blatantly wrong, that this official was 1,000% incorrect in what he did, and he threw out a superstar in a game where people are paying obnoxious amounts of money to watch the superstar, then the NBA official should have to miss a game without pay. Mm-hmm. Now, on the flip side, the NBA officials are in a no-win situation sometimes, and I'm one of the people who think it's rigged because I watched the Washington Commanders and Giants, so I'm one of the people who do believe that. But they're in a no-win situation because Draymond Green lied to an official and said a fan threatened his life. Mm-hmm. We got it on audio and video that Draymond lied, and they kicked a hard-paying citizen who paid, and all he said is, we gave you a pass on what you did because we love what's his name, whatever. So these officials are all over the place. But I will say, just to stay on this point, I think the officials get a little irritated with players and can't wait to be able to do something to retaliate to the players. And the only power they have is to make their night short. That's the only power they have, is to get rid of Morant. Because as we see in the NBA, they're getting disrespected on every call. No matter what call the NBA officials make, they're going to get disrespected. And Draymond's one of the main people who take care of this. But the guy should lose a game and should lose it without pay. And if I'm John Moran, if he would have done that to me, and I would say, so I'm getting kicked out because you thought I said this to you, now I'm going to say it to you. What you thought I'm going to say, now I'm going to say it to you.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because if I'm lose money for this and everything else, then I'm going to really say it to you. That's how I would say that too. So T, speaking of, before we jump into the NFL game that happened last night, man, I got to just say this. Robert Sarver got in trouble for sexual misconduct allegations and stuff with the Phoenix Suns weeks ago. News came out this morning that there's more allegations from more Phoenix Suns executives of more misconduct that extended beyond just Robert Sarver. So it looks like it was management and ownership treating other employees of the Phoenix Suns, and it wasn't just Robert Sarver. It seems like now it was Robert Sarver, a couple of his boys, a couple of GM, everybody else. They're not naming names just yet, but it's coming down that it was a lot of the entirety of the Phoenix Suns upper management and ownership. So before we talk about the NFL games, we want to talk about how you think the NBA should handle this now, because this is really, really bad. With you know what I mean? Like, this is horrible. What's your take?
So this is correct me if I'm wrong. This is executive corporate gangbang.
I ain't say gang banging. Pause.
No, you didn't say that, but that's what this is. You just said it without saying it. You just said, come to find out, it ain't just him. It's everybody in the office is smashing.
Wow.
Now, only thing we don't know is if it's, multiple women, because if it's happening to one person and they're walking around saying it was boom, 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 then yeah, this is a corporate gangbang. I think that they're in trouble. I think this is like the third or fourth story in the last year or so that we've been dealing with these organizations that it just keeps unfolding. Mm-hmm. Like we get that initial headline and then they do what they do, and then the rebuttal is, well, it's not just him. So I think that, the league and the team, all those guys are in a lot of trouble, man, because we already know when this is the groundwork being laid for something bigger. And we don't know if that's 2 or 3 bigger, 5 or 6 bigger. We don't know how big this thing, how far up it goes, up the total pole, or how wide it goes. So I would stand by, man, and say that, a lot of hands are going to get smacked on the back. And a lot of, like Mike said, you talk about missing games, people going to be missing checks.
Yeah, that's 100% with that, too. Mike, how do you think the NBA should handle this, especially the commissioner and people? How do you think they should handle this? Because, like I said, it's not just one owner. It's owners, it's upper management, how they were treating employees and everything else. And I'm careful with my words. See that? And I didn't say what he said.
Well, keep the same energy you had for the Boston Celtic head coach. I need that same vigor that you had when you was like, you just not going to work until we tell you can work. I don't know what's going on in these front offices. I don't know what's going on in Good Morning America with TJ Holmes knocking off white girls like they have mutual funds in their vagina. I don't know. Like, I don't know exactly what's going on where everybody really believes it's 2005 when this was all acceptable. Like, I used to have a job. I remember when this was acceptable. I got it. I remember when you could run through and you could knock off a chick in human resource and get away with it. Like, it was good.
I know what happened, Mike. They started dressing nice.
Like, I don't know what is going to. All I know is Adam Silver needs to sit down with everybody and say, listen, if you have any type of relations with somebody in the organization, you're fired. I don't want to hear anything else about it. We don't care who you are. We don't care what you do. We don't care. We fire the female. And don't just talk about the dudes. I need these females to get the same wrath that guys do. You were part of the situation. You knew what you was doing with this person in the organization. Everybody got to go. So there's no black and white to this. And I mean black and white, because it seems like the black guys get it worse than anybody else.
And I agree with you. Equal opportunity and punishment for the female as the male, because you're fighting for equality. Then we're going to do this equal.
Yep. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just cursed out a waitress in the diner, took my daughter to breakfast. They're going to hand me the check. I said, how you know my daughter ain't buying me breakfast?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Equal opportunity.
All day. Yeah. All
right, so in the NFL, we got to talk about this. The NFL Monday Night Football game happened last night, and Baker Mayfield magic ended last night, man. The Packers ended up winning, handedly over the Rams and everything else. The Packers have a slim hope of making the playoffs. The Rams' run for the playoffs is over this year. It's done. So, what's your thoughts on the Rams and the Packers, T? How are you looking at this game last night and the play out? What do you think the Rams should do? Baker Mayfield, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Keep going.
Well, only thing we know for sure is Odell Beckham Jr. is not signing back with Rams. That's the only thing that got confirmed. So if Odell was sitting at home like, oh, okay, they got a little shot, that's out the window. He'll sign to a JV team, junior varsity somewhere before he go there. I believe it or not, man, I'm a softie, and I'm that guy that's always rooting for third and fourth chances, which is what we're looking at with a Baker Mayfield. And sometimes it's all it is, bro. Sometimes it's just landing the right situation, the right group of guys, the right organization that you can flourish. I don't think he's a bum. I think he's a very capable quarterback. He just needs a shot. And sometimes these things are your wake-up calls. If the Rams are smart, you keep them. Even when your other guy comes back, let them compete for the starting position, whatever the case may be. But I would keep him, you know what I mean? Because he came in, late, thirsty, they needed him, whatever. And he showed you that he got something in the tank. So I like him.
Interesting. What's your take on this, Mike Sean?
I don't like the word interesting. I said all that. He said, interesting.
Interesting.
I feel like that part of the interview, Mike, when they go, tell us about these 2 times you've been arrested. And you tell them a story, they go, interesting.
Because I saw he looked down and wrote, so yeah, he wrote something down. He wrote.
You're a very nice guy, but we're not hiring felons.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
I really I tell you all the time that football, as much as I love football, you can't get me to waste my time anymore watching games that don't impact anything. I watch it because Aaron Rodgers was playing. And I'm taking account that we don't know how many years Aaron Rodgers is going to play. That's why I put my poetry book down. I didn't write any poems. I watched like the first half, and then I realized that this game is a wrap. And that was on ESPN, right?
Yeah. Monday night.
Yeah, ESPN is getting stuck with some bad games. But okay, so they had Aaron Rodgers. I think Baker Mayfield has the potential, and talent is right. You just don't know what the fit is for this guy, and you don't know when he's going to land or if he's ever going to land somewhere where he can actually be a proven NFL quarterback and be a success. But
if you had to guess, where do you think Baker Mayfield would land? Baker
Mayfield will be a marginal starter. He will have a career better than Geno Smith, but not as good as Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right, but where do you see him land at? Where do you think he'll land?
What team would he land at?
Yeah.
Who knows? Like I don't know if Geno Smith is coming back down to earth. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a backup. So when you're a backup, you can land up anywhere. You know what I'm saying? You can land anywhere in the NFL. That's what I think. But I think it would be smart for him to stay with the Rams.
Right. You know what, T, where do you think he would land at if Baker Mayfield get another shot? Where do you think he'd land at?
You mean off this team?
Yeah, because he definitely gonna stay in the Rams. He ain't gonna stay in the Rams.
Okay, well, if he don't stay in the Rams, I think he has the good thing about this year. Looking at this year, he got a pretty good chance of. It's about 5-6 teams going to be available for him in the offseason. It's just the case of, do they want him? See, one thing about I call them house hoppers. One thing about house hoppers, they're really not attractive to teams. They're only attractive like in a situation with like an OBJ right now. That's an attractive situation if you want to add some firepower and you're making a run through the playoffs and trying to get to the Super Bowl. But as far as a quarterback and the whole season and you lead my team, they really don't like it. Like, it's hard for the house hoppers, man. And there's 2 types of house hoppers. There's a non-negative and a negative. He's kind of got that negative sprinkles on him. So even though there's going to be some opportunities open up, I see he's going to have to work his way from the floor up, man. So you got to look at those teams that's not doing well. So it's not like he's going to just shoot to a contender that quick. I think he's going to go to a team rebuilding or working on putting some pieces together, that ain't make the playoffs this year.
Well, if you're going with house hoppers, the Colts welcome all house hoppers.
There you
Colts
go.
have had more quarterbacks in the last 4 years than anybody in the NFL. So go visit the Colts. They'll take you.
The Colts, the head coach, look, they hired that guy. He barely had a job as an analyst.
My man Rodney Perry has joined the show. Rodney Perry, talk to me about your thoughts on the Rams defeating the Packers. and if you see Baker Mayfield staying with the Rams after the end of the season. Because I was going to say my Pelican brief, because you gave me this name, Pelican brief. My Pelican brief is I think he might end up landing, once they get rid of Jimmy G, I think he'll land up on 49 as the backup. You know what I mean? I can see him going there. But what's your thoughts on?
They were always talking about him maybe ended up on the 49ers now, and it didn't happen. It's something up with Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's got negative sprinkles on him. So, I mean, I don't know if it's negative sprinkles or not, but Baker Mayfield has some type of mojo guys don't want. You know, he wore that Browns jersey, that Browns uniform, and he was the golden boy over there. And then all of a sudden, he's just not. I mean, this is a good thing for him. He's white. So he'll get a job. He'll get a job somewhere. You know, now if he was black, it'll be over for his ass. He'd be looking for a coaching job. So I think Baker Mayfield will end up somewhere, absolutely, but I don't know where right now.
Okay. My man Rodney Perry gave you his thoughts and takes on this. Now let's see what everybody's going to say about the Jets game against the Lions, because the Jets barely lost that game. But did you know what, T? The Jets have, and nothing I'm telling you that you don't know this, but the Jets have a bona fide cute quarterback controversy, I think, going into the next couple of weeks. I think the Jets going to have to sit there and say, you know, who's going to start once my man comes back from his injury. So right. First of all, let's talk about the Jets losing to the Lions. And then do you think, T, that there should be a QB controversy coming from the New York Jets? What's your take on this? Because we didn't talk about the Jets yet.
Well, first of all, regarding the game, and Mike texted that day watching it, what I've been saying for the last 3-4 weeks is we have a coach problem. We have a coach who has yet to become fully a coach. He's still a defensive coordinator. He has yet to grow fully as a coach because he's making bad, play calls in the crunch times of the game. This is 4 in a row now. So I put a lot of blame on his back. But the good thing about it is he, unlike Wilson, he owned up to it right away. So I do respect that and appreciate that. It was a great game. We was in it. We got, like we did in the last 3 weeks, got 2 chances to come back and take over that game and take that lead. And unfortunately, the play calling or lack thereof, timeouts, hands, we lose again. As far as the coaching, the quarterback decision, I don't think we got a problem. I think that, believe it or not, this coach is still leaning to the meter is pointing towards Wilson. He still loves that. He had a press conference where it was very clear, came across very clear when he kind of blamed the game on Zach's bad, moments. He said, there's no question this guy's going to be a star quarterback. He said, the problem is the game. What was the phrase he used? He said, this game is like, it was sort of like a microwave, like the game is they want it now.
It'll slow down. It'll slow down for him.
He said, want it now. So because they want it now is what made him make the decision in the first place as a reprimand to him. And, Mike, we all seen how good he did, so he kept him in there a couple of times. But he's really pushing for Zach, so I don't see him pushing to push Zach out. That would have to come above his head. That would, above his pay grade, would have to make that call down and go, I don't care that you like him, get rid of him. Because as far as the coach, if he's our coach, that's our quarterback.
Okay. I won't say interesting again, and you didn't say who
I'm not going to get this job. I'm not going to get this job. What do you say?
Well, who you want? Who you want, QB?
I'm torn.
Mike White is hurt, ain't he?
Yeah.
We're saying overall, like going forward, I probably would edge out Zach, and I like both of them. But if I got to edge out, I got to edge out with Mike on toughness. I love tough quarterbacks.
They tough long as their ribs ain't on the grill.
Hold on, Robbie. Hold on. All right, so let me ask you, Mike. Mike, the Jets lost to the Lions. It was a pretty good game. What's your take on the Jets and Lions game? And who you think the Jets should use as a QB moving forward.
This is my problem. You can't evaluate these quarterbacks because when they play their heart out, the guy that they're looking to make the right decision never does. Zach Wilson should have had like 3 opportunities to win the game, not a long field goal. Like he should have really had 3 shots at the end zone. So the kid plays his heart out. He's bringing the team down. He can't just go out of skin and call a timeout because the media is already saying that he's a spoiled athlete that doesn't understand the concept of the team. So he's sitting there going like, we should call a timeout right now or should spike the ball or whatever. They let 30 or 40 seconds run off the clock. I'm not even a Jet fan. I'm a New York fan. I like seeing my teams do well even when I'm not really their fan. But I'm sitting there going like, you're going to kick this long field goal because you're head coach. To the point is, how can you let this guy evaluate when he's the one screwing them up when they're in the game? So how can you figure out which one is the one you want to go forth with? How can I trust you? Maybe he does go with Zach Wilson. Well, guess who's going to be in command when it's 1 minute and 48 seconds again, and they're driving down the field and they're trying to make another play? The evaluation should be on that head coach. The defensive coordinator, the defense is great, but there's something going on with this offense that I just don't get. And I was a Jets fan. I'd be pissed. And it's hard to get at the head coach because they're doing well. But this is 2 or 3, what is this, 3 straight losses?
Yep.
So now the evaluation has to be on the head coach, not on the quarterbacks.
Yeah, okay. But who are your thoughts on should the Jets have a QB moving forward?
Whoever I'm paying the most money to. Whoever I invested the most money in, whoever I drafted, I'm sorry. I have to make sure because you don't get those picks again. So you better make sure that this pick didn't work because this team has had 2 or 3 picks that they used on quarterback. They can't waste another one.
Right.
I think they both on rookie contracts, right? Aren't they both on rookie contracts?
Yeah, but I wasted a draft pick on them.
He's not working.
Okay, I'm gonna check into that. Rodney Perry, the Jets play the Lions. The Lions are coming back. Like right now, they're making a push to be the wild card. They're doing pretty good right now, and most people are picking them to make the playoffs. With that being said, because the Giants are losing and the Lions are picking up. The Lions started out 1-6. They're now 7-7. Last time I checked. What's your take on the Lions-Jets game, and who do you think the Jets should go moving forward, Rodney Perry?
This is the thing, man, and I love New Yorkers because a New Yorker is never gonna pass the buck. Mm-hmm. You know, the coach owned the fact that he messed up that last 2 minutes of that game. He was like, "Yo, I thought about it. I looked at the tape. It was horrible. I fucked it up. It was a good. Excuse me. I'm sorry." But he really owned it. And I know we're looking at the Jets, and we're not talking about the Lions. The Lions got some great personnel over there. They got some awesome team speed. I mean, they just still bad. And the Jets are getting good at the same time. So I think we had those things meet in the same room, and Jets came out on the wrong side of it. I like Zach Wilson. I threw him in the starting role of my fantasy this weekend, and he went out there and got me 28 points. Mm-hmm. I like the guy. Your boy, what's his name? Mike White. I think they're gonna let him sit out, let him get fully well, and they're gonna come back to him unless Zach go crazy. Zach has got to win. He can't just be good. He got to win. And if he wins, they'll go with him. But it's not, how many games we got left?
I got to tell you this right now. I think the Jets have a kid named Mike White who has pocket presence, and he's a really good quarterback. If they don't use him, I think they'd be making a big mistake. But
they can't use him as long as his ass hurt. They got to get him well.
I'm saying when he gets better. That kid.
Yeah. I think they'll go back to him if Zach, for whatever reason, if Zach wins, let's say win out right now, the NFL is very clear. They like winners, and they will have Mike White be on the damn bench so fast.
Yeah, but then somebody would want him so fast too, because that boy can play. So let me talk to you about the Bears and the Eagles. The Bears barely lost to the Eagles. Jalen Hurts got hurt. But Justin Fields really had a hell of a game. People are saying if you give the Bears an offensive line, they are 2 years away from being what the Philadelphia Eagles is right now. But of course, that's what I've been hearing. I didn't really see the Bears play too much, but Justin Fields did play. So you think it's talk? What's your take?
Wow. If you get the Bears, if you give the Bears honey, you got Winnie of the Pooh. If was a split, you give a bear honey, you got Winnie the Pooh. Listen,
Really?
Yeah, really. Bottom line is the Bears. The Bears are a pile of crap. Now, it is the NFL.
Down.
It is the NFL. So let me say this about the pile of crap teams. If you pay attention to the last 2 weeks coming into, we got, 3 more games. The crappy teams are still putting points up. They're crappy. They're losing, but guess what? Look at them scores.
Right.
20-something to 30-something. So you're crappy, but we could pull all the crappy teams up and look at 20 to 30 points on the board. So this is a professional league. Of course, it don't matter. That's why they say any given Sunday. I don't care if I'm at the bottom and you at the top. When we meet, it should be some sort of chance that it could happen. And that's what happened with the Bears game. I mean, they made them work for it, as they should. You're a professional team. I expect nothing less. But this is Rodney's place. This is stinky ass Chicago.
Whoa.
That's how it got personal.
Merry Christmas, Rodney.
Mike Scott, what's your take on the Bears barely losing to the Eagles, almost pulled it out? What's your take on the Bears and Eagles, man?
I do be itching on people, so I don't want to pile on, but I'm going to right now. Since Jordan left, the only thing Chicago's known for is the wind. Listen,
right.
That's it. And if they had an offensive line, if every quarterback had an offensive line, they'd be better. Like that's what I'm saying. If my ex-wife had common sense, she wouldn't have married my ass. But she did. She was stuck with me for a year. That's what she gets. Thinking she gonna ride off me. I wasn't gonna be famous that fast. Listen, I do Showtime at the Apollo once, and you think everything's gonna just pop off. That was nothing. What do you want? First of all, I love the fact that people, every time the Eagles do something, it's, well, they barely beat the Bears. You never thought watching that game the Bears had a chance to win the game. You never thought they were going to win that game. It was 25-20, and as much as I wanted the Eagles to lose, I truly wanted the Eagles to lose, I knew they wasn't going to lose that game. I knew they weren't. And Justin Fields right now, if they don't draft the correct pieces and put it around them, he's going to get murdered back there. But when I tell you he's athletic, he reminds me of what Jalen Hurts did 2 years ago when everybody was saying Jalen Hurts can't be the quarterback that he is now. He doesn't have pocket presence. In all seriousness, during this offseason, this could be the jump that Justin Fields becomes a top flight quarterback. But I don't know what the Bears are going to do because it's been over 20 years since we've seen the Bears be relevant.
Facts.
Wow.
Your turn, Rodney.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
We shouldn't give Rodney this much time to write mental notes.
You guys, man. I mean, we all know Justin Fields is a great quarterback. Does he need to shore up his offensive line? Absolutely. I mean, I've been saying that for 2 years, waiting on the lineman to show up.
Right.
I'm not going to debate that. But Chicago has deep dish pizza.
we going to the menu.
One of the best comedians ever to touch the stage.
I'll give you that.
Chicago is known for many, many things outside of the damn weather.
Wind and Wabash.
It was Wabash. Anyway.
Pardon me, Wabash.
Anyway. No, all jokes aside, man. They played a hell of a game. They couldn't get it done. And this guy is the future. This Justin Fields is the future. I mean, y'all just had a whole debate about the goddamn Excuse my language. I'm on vacation.
He on vacation. He don't live in Chicago no more.
That's
Like, I'm out of here.
No. We just talk about Baker Mayfield being the second coming, and Justin Fields is better.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we'll see the Bears rise from the ashes, and then we'll see the Jets continue to be mediocre.
Ooh.
He got
that.
Yeah, he got you that one too. He got you.
I thought I was going untouched. Nope.
Ooh. Protect your neck.
Right.
All right, so we also saw over the weekend, we saw the Kansas City Chiefs go to overtime with the Houston Texans. And if they don't make that one blunder and OT, you know what I mean? The Houston Texans could have either walked away with a draw or beat Kansas City. If you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, are you concerned that you have 2 games in a row? You have 2 issues, closing out games and everything. They should have blew out the Texans. Shouldn't even been as close. What's your take on this, man?
Then I'll just tell you that these teams that coulda, woulda, shoulda, they bottom feeders, but they putting up numbers. Here's the thing: Kansas City the memo has already been released. I think 4 or 5 weeks into the season, they let you know who they are this year. They said we are just here to outscore you. We can't stop you. We ain't got nothing prolific to show you, but we're gonna outscore that ass. And we don't care if we outscore you by 1, 2, or 3 points. That's a win. And that's who they are. They're going to be the outscoring team. As far as they can outscore you, as far as they're going to go deep in the playoffs, hopefully with a Super Bowl push. But I think they made it clear. They put the league on notice early, like 4 or 5 weeks in. Okay, y'all see we missing a bunch of pieces. Y'all see we can't really stop everything. So that's why teams like the Texans are coming there and give us a good game, which they shouldn't be able to. But they do.
Mike, Sean. I didn't even say interested. Notice that, T? I didn't even go, interested.
I might get the job.
I didn't do that. You might get the job. So the Kansas City Chiefs, they really played their game, but are we overlooking the Houston Texans and how good? Because 2 weeks in a row, they gave some great games to 2 formidable teams, and they almost beat the Chiefs, which everybody knows is one of the best teams in the league. What's your take on the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs game, and any other thoughts you might have?
Give Lovie Smith some love, man. He could have packed it in. This team could have packed it all the way in and just said, let's get the number 1 pick. They were in this game. They were in the actually, they should have won the Dallas game. Now, a quarterback makes a mistake because he's really not that good, or he's not that experienced. I shouldn't say not that good. He's not that experienced. He makes a mistake. He fumbles the ball. They get it, and it's done. But to what talent says about the Chiefs, I was getting to the point where, like, when things go bad, they just go, Pat Mahomes, do something. Like, do something. Make something happen. Do a 360, moonwalk, and throw it behind your back and make something happen. And the problem is, I don't think they can keep that up or last like that in the playoffs when they I think the Bengals got them. I think Buffalo can beat them, but you can't underestimate them. But give Smith some love, dog. He kept this team together when everybody was ishing on him and basically making the laughing stock. And stop saying teams should beat them, because now teams understand you got to play this team to beat them. And when a coach gets a team rallied up like that has nothing to play for except their checks, he should get some credit.
Should we be giving a lot of credit to the QB? That was his name, David Mills, because he looked like he played a great game too.
He plays a good game, but you always feel like even his mannerisms are like he sucks. Like even the way he walks on the field is like, yo, he sucks. But then all of a sudden he does something, and you go like, well, maybe he doesn't, but he just doesn't make me feel like he's the. I don't know. I'm a white general manager right now. No matter what you do.
You got the Flacco syndrome.
Yeah, you got the Flacco. I don't believe in you. I don't know. I don't know.
Riley Perry, what's your take on the Chiefs almost beating Houston Texans? And Lovie Smith he does have an okay, QB. And they were in that game. If they don't make that one mistake, I think they could have beat the Chiefs.
You saying the Chiefs almost won? No, they won.
No, I'm saying the Chiefs won. I'm saying the Chiefs almost won.
You know what? If they got the National Horseshoe League, then we can use almost. If we start throwing hand grenades, you just got to get in the ballpark. But as long as they're scoring And there's one is not the same as 0. Your ass lost. Kansas City don't care how many points they win by. They just want to win.
Yeah.
Like Sean say, we can't rely on Mahomes to continue to do it. He's been doing it for 5 years. He's throwing the ball sidearm. I see. Let me tell you something. Mahomes is out there playing pickleball. I know what pickleball is. It's the fastest going sport in the world. Jamie Foxx got pickleball paddles. He's slinging. LeBron James has a pickleball team. Let me tell y'all something. Mahomes is out there with a pickleball and it's stuffed in his pants. He hit the football with the pickleball paddle. The guy's incredible, man. You can't bet against him. They have some issues on the offensive line as well, but Mahomes don't give a damn. He just wins. And at the end of the day, if you're in the Houston locker room, guess what you just did? Lose again.
Interesting.
He's the doomsayer.
Yeah, right? You feel?
Don't ever let him in the locker room.
Happy to deliver bad news.
If he was a head coach, he'd walk in. I told you were losers. I told each and every one of you were losers. You were freaking losers.
You're right. Crazy.
So this is a big game this week, and before we jump into the NBA, man, I want to ask you guys your thoughts on this game between the Eagles and the Cowboys happening on New Year, Christmas Eve. Jalen Hurts is hurt, injured his shoulder and everything else. I guess my thoughts on this right now is that I don't think, since the Eagles have the clear cut, in my opinion, the Eagles are the clear cut number 1 seed. I don't think they should play him if he's a little bit injured. But everybody's hyping up this game because, what's your take, T? Do you think Jalen Hurts should play through this injury, or should they sit him out with the Eagles versus the Cowboys, one of the biggest games of the season?
Yeah, I don't think you need him. I wouldn't. If the shoulder thing is real, it seemed like they're playing the game because when it first happened, they said the first thing was he's not playing this week. Mm-hmm. I wake up today, 4 different occasions. We don't know if he's gonna play. So they went from he's not playing because of the shoulder to we don't know. And then the last thing I seen is he could play. Other than keeping a rhythm, why? Maybe you start the guy so you keep a little rhythm, and then a quarter or two you bring another guy in because, like you just said, Frank, they don't need it. Like from here on out, they got that on lock. You know what I mean? You're locked in. You're good money. So why risk it getting worse, re-injured, or whatever the case may be if you don't need it? Now, if it's just a stat thing and you just want to consecutively start the guy, I get that. But to play whole games at this point, I don't think it's necessary. I wouldn't do it.
I don't think so either, because if he sits, in my opinion, they still can win a couple of those games they got left and everything else, in my opinion. Jalen Hurts is injured. Mike, I know you know how big it is, in the Dallas area. Should they play him? Should they not play him? What's your take?
I mean, he's going to want to play. Let me tell you, I'm a very petty person, right? And Michael Parsons was popping off about Jalen Hurts. Then he goes to Jacksonville and loses. I would be so petty and not play none of my starters against the Cowboys and let them rest for the holidays and just be like, we really don't even care about you. Because their last 2 games against the Saints and my Giants, which means they're going to win between 12 and 13 games and still have the number 1 seed. I would literally be that petty to show you how much we don't worry about the Cowboys because they're still popping off. Michael Parsons is still popping off, and they go to Jacksonville and lose. Now, Jalen Hurts being who he is, he's going to want to play. And it's going to be hard for the coach to actually sit him down. But if he can play, he's probably going to be the starting quarterback in that game. But common sense would tell you to sit down, relax, heal up, and beat the Saints, and unfortunately beat my Giants, who, damn it, that hurts to say, but it's probably going to happen.
Riley Perry, what's your thoughts?
Here goes, guys. Jalen Hurts is hurt. But the mistake they made is something you see from time to time. You don't want your opponent able to load up on your backup either. The backup is gonna play, but you don't want people to start looking at his high school footage and his college footage and fill it. What you want that to be a surprise game day decision. Jalen Hurts is not going to play, but you got to have the idea that he might play out there. And I think that's what's going on right here. They're just keeping the door open, even though the door is actually closed. And you don't need this guy to go out there if he's hobbled up against the lowly Cowboys. No.
My take on this before I even do anything else, I think he shouldn't play. But I'm wondering, will pressure from the NFL and everybody else put him to play? That's what I'm concerned about.
Hey, Frank, I'm so petty. Not only would I not play my starters, I would have let them open Christmas gifts on the sidelines during the games. And I would I'd have a Christmas tree, and during the game, I would allow people to open gifts and thank each other for what they got each other. That's what I would do to let the Cowboys know how unimportant they are.
Yeah, that's petty. That's petty. Speaking of petty, the Suns rout the Lakers last night, right? And I was kind of amazed that Patrick Beverley does this thing, like he does this taunting thing where he's taunting Chris Paul, you too small. But when he does it, they're down 25. Everybody look at him like really, dude, like really, like I don't know. Anyway, the Suns rout. It was 130-104 was the final. Of the Anthony Davis didn't play.
LeBron didn't play either, did he?
Huh?
Nobody said nothing about LeBron.
LeBron didn't play either, did he?
Nobody asked about LeBron, bro.
What's your take on this, T?
My take is nobody said nothing about Mr. James. Here come Wabash. And LeBron was not feeling well either. Get out of here. Here's the thing, man. You got mental illness.
Whose voice was that? Was that my voice?
Mental illness is so real. When you taunt a dude and you down 20 points, do you know how Kanye issues sound? Yeah, what? Yeah, now what? Now what? We going home. We won. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Now I get that's his swag, and he's trying to. That's what this generation is lacking. They don't understand organic from forced. I think these young players are forcing a characterism on themselves. Like, I want to be known for this. The old school guys that we were known, that end up being known for something, it organically happened. Gary Payton became the glove because that's how he was playing, for real. Like, he was lockdown D, and we called him the glove as a nickname. You know what I mean? When you look at all those guys that got their nickname, or, Dennis Rodman, he scraped the boards. He earned whatever you call them at the end of the day. These guys are trying to force the characterization of who they want you to see them as. Mm-hmm. Okay, we know you are the wah-wah crap talker on the court, but you're down 25 right now, bro. Mm-hmm. At least be believable with it. You can't taunt me and I'm busting your ass on this joint. Pause. Mm-hmm. I'm tearing you up. Like, you got no wins. He should have turned around, took that same energy, and taunted AD and LeBron.
Mike Sean, your take.
Look, I'm gonna sound like the old man that says, "Get off my porch." But this is what I miss about a guy like Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. I believe LeBron is the greatest all-around player to ever play. So when I critique him like this, please understand I've argued with barbershops throughout the country. I've been in bars arguing with people that this man is the greatest player. But you're going to tell me the leader of this team, nobody steps to this dude and says, "Can you shut up? We're down by 26. When Kobe saw that replay, remember when I think he was doing Jimmy Kimmel, and he saw the replay of the players celebrating a win after they had lost like 12 in a row, and they were throwing water on each other. Like, he ice grilled it and said that wouldn't happen if I was there.
Yeah.
Like, Patrick Beverley becomes so annoying that I can't even blame it on youth or anything, because he's been in the league for like 15 years. But this is just the irritation of you not grabbing somebody. LeBron not saying, "What are you doing? We're getting blown out. It's not fun in games." But LeBron's been smiling lately at the end of games that he's lost, and that's been irritating me too. But that's all I got to say about that.
So let me ask
NFL's rigged. NFL's rigged.
Yeah, NFL's rigged. Well, let me ask Rodney Perry his thoughts about this.
I like Dennis Schroeder last night, man. He played a hell of a game, man. Dude put up close to what?
He got 30. He got 30.
A hot 30. It felt like 50. He said he was scoring every time I turn around.
He's playing for $150 a game, though. Go ahead. He blew that $80 million. Now he playing for $150 a game.
He looks great doing it, man. The guy is doing his thing, and when AD and LeBron are out, it gives the rest of these guys the opportunity to log some minutes together and to find their rhythm without the big dogs. And I think it's not completely horrible thing. You hate to lose a game, but you know when your leaders are not there, you know things happen.
Well, well said, my friend, my brother. Let me look at the time. Let me see if we can get this last story in real fast. Dame Lillard ended up passing Clyde Drexler as a scoring leader, finishing at 28 points, 9 for 17 shooting, and with 3 rebounds and 6 assists. But they lost to OKC. Again, OKC sneaking up on people. But Dame Lillard right now, is doing work out there. That brother need help, man. What's your take on Dame Lillard passing Clyde Drexler?
Well, he better watch his back. I was having drinks with Clyde last night. Clyde is pissed. Clyde thought that was going to stand up there and stay up there, at least in his lifetime. And him breaking that record, man, he better watch his back, man. Clyde, when them dudes don't, lose that hair on the top of the head but still keep the side, them the guys you got to watch out for. Them dudes get real upset and they'll do something to you because the hair in the middle. The George Jefferson, they'll kill you. One of my favorite players, all jokes aside, I love Dame. And I want to see him keep doing this thing, put these numbers up, keep making the case in point that you top 5 that are alive. And, I'm a big Dame fan. I think it's great, man. I think, and it's the same with Clyde. When Clyde played, big Clyde fan. And now we see this guy. I know this is one of those records nobody was looking at. Yeah. Everybody's doing what they're doing. Then all of a sudden somebody looked down in the book and said, wait a second. If he hit this free throw.
That's the fact.
Somebody said, time out. Come here. Look what you got. Look what Clyde got. Look where you at. You got 2 free throws. I dare you. Boom.
It was a dare.
I dare you.
I dare you. Because, they have so much respect for the previous players and stuff. But I think it's kudos to Dame. That just means more doors and records to be broken.
Yeah, no doubt. Mike Sean, what's your thoughts on Dame?
I'm just mad they didn't have the same hoopla when Julius Randle passed Charlie Ward in the all-time scoring list for the Knicks. Like, I'm like, talent is absolutely correct. Nobody even thought about this. They just bring stuff up. They just go, he passed Clyde Drexler, and we love Clyde Drexler. But so what?
We don't like Clyde.
Everybody loves Clyde. Clyde probably would have had a championship if Jordan wasn't in the league, but we wasn't even thinking about, they got all these stats now. Oh, he just broke the record for most rebounds within 2 minutes in the third quarter, and he's a Pisces. Like, what?
Clyde got a championship though, Mike. He got a championship.
Yeah, he got it with Houston when it wasn't, that wasn't his squad. I'm talking about when he was with his squad, when he was the dude on his squad. That's what counts. And no disrespect, I'd have ran and got a championship too, but he wasn't the leader of that team. God bless Dame Lillard. He's never going to leave Portland. He's going to sit there and never win a championship. And if he's cool with that, I'm cool with that too.
No doubt. What's your take on this, Rodney Perry? Dame, thoughts on Dame?
I mean, I love Dame Lillard, man. I watched the documentary about the guy. All Dame's shortcomings being out there in Portland, I blame Clyde. Clyde should have called it, man. If you don't do nothing else, I say you get the hell out of Portland. I hate this old mentality. Oh, I'm gonna stay in my team to the end. Well, your ass gonna lose, Dame Lillard. You ain't never gonna win as long as you wear a Portland Trailblazer jersey. You know what they do out there. You know what you can do. You get some fresh Nikes. They got the Nike store. They got your roses. You can get all the roses. You get all the roses you want. You like roses? Get you some roses. You're in the city of roses. But guess what you're not going to get? An NBA championship. Get out of there, Dame!
You know something? Rodney ain't never lie. He tells the truth. Like that.
No. I disagree. This
You
is
think
a
he'll get a
corporation.
championship in a Portland uniform? Unless somebody come up there with him, and ain't nobody going up there.
That's not the point, Rodney. This
You know
is
what?
This
you
is
know who's not going? Talent, you ain't going. You ain't going to be in Portland.
Let's stop.
Hey, Talent, you want to do a show in Portland?
This is a corporation that cuts checks like any other corporation. Why wouldn't I work in a place that could cut that check? If I don't get a championship, but I make $200-300 million in the course of what you call losing, so be it.
But
you ain't happy about that, Talent. You're happy about that.
But y'all both right. But Talent is also right. Dame will probably, well, Rodney's right in the fact that Dame will probably win a Source Award before he wins an NBA title.
Okay, hold on. Here's a question before we.
He will get an Image Award. He will get it.
Here's a question before we get out of here, because we talked about, we mentioned 30 points from
How many games will Dame get before he get an NBA championship?
Right now, Schroeder dropped 30. He's playing great, right? Schroeder turned on that 80+ million and end up playing. Now he's playing $150 a game. Do anybody on here believe he will ever be offered that again?
Never. But his parking does get redeemed.
What does it
at
have
the
to
facility?
do?
It does get redeemed.
Dame Lillard will get free parking in LAX before he get an NBA championship.
Yo, y'all tell everybody out there how they can follow you till you stop. You go ahead. You go first.
But give us something that Dame will get before he wins a championship, Talent.
I just want to know how it's so desolate and never going to happen for Dame in Portland, but Chicago has a chance. Kiss my ass, Roger.
No. Chicago doesn't have a
You
chance.
just said, yeah, when
Chicago,
nothing going to happen there
you
either.
talking about the football team?
I'm talking about all the
have a
teams.
chance. You got a great quarterback.
Nothing in Chicago's winning right now. Nothing.
T, tell everybody out there how they can follow you. T.
You can follow me at 101 Wabash Avenue in the heart of Chicago on a windiest day. They're building my statue as we speak. It's me with a Nick cape on. Turn this way.
Nick cape on. Mike, tell everybody how they can follow you.
Chicago has been cursed ever since they ruined the TV show Empire and put that little boy in jail for a little bit.
Wow.
Check me out on the morning, every morning, Monday through Friday, Media Room 360. Yeah.
My man, Rodney Perry.
I'm easy to find, man. I'll be at Chase Bank with the Giants trying to figure out where my money went.
Yo, the show's called Box Seats. That's Rodney Perry. That's Talent. That's Mike Sean. We're gonna be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we obviously gonna start looking at some of the games heading into the weekend because it's Christmas weekend, man. Christmas Eve games and Christmas Day games. Got some big games. You know, name of the show's called Box Seats. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all. Take care. Peace.